Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Track Talk, your connection coast to coast and beyond in all the latest news, developments, stake race analysis, and interviews inside the world of thoroughbred horse racing. From California to New York, Florida, and Kentucky, we have you covered. It's post time, live from San Diego. It's Track Talk. And we welcome you on this Sunday morning. Welcome. Excuse me. Busy weekend here in Del Mar, huh, Tommy D?
Oh, yeah, good times. Yesterday, all kinds of action going on. Congratulations. Maximum Security showing that true champ. What a battle, between those two horses coming down the stretch. I know a little controversy there, but Maximum Security showing true champion yesterday. Del Mar, great day of racing, had some nice prices come through, gave out some great picks all around, Toby, Zap, the whole crew. So I think overall going really well. Del Mar, honestly, you can't ask for better days to start opening week here, Felix. Unbelievable weather, not too hot. The sun's been out. Everyone's dressed up nicely, and, it might be a little bit light on the crowd, but, hey, it's still always a good time when you get out to the track.
Yeah, yesterday in the Haskell back at Oceanport, New Jersey, where Maximum Security hooked up with Mucho Gusto coming from the Bob Baffert barn. Another inquiry in the Haskell didn't last as long as the Kentucky Derby. They had to call an audible. They canceled a number of races yesterday at Monmouth Park, and they lined up all the stake races. So essentially, it was about a 4-hour delay where the Haskell was supposed to go off at 5 our time. I think it went off a little bit later than that. And Maximum Security, you talk about a game-digging winner.
Yeah, definitely. This horse has a lot of heart, and you know what? I thought it was going to get past, but it fought, it dug down and got through the stretch there to win that race. And hats off to the connections. I thought it was a great race, and that's all you could say. And Monmouth, that was weird yesterday. I've never seen anything like that. They're getting to the track just for a little bit. And not able to play because it wasn't on. And that made it tough for me to be able to handicap Monmouth yesterday.
Without any question, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those were the races that were canceled. They ran 7, 8, 9 after a 4.5-hour delay. The West, Gary and Mary West had to sit through another blinking light situation. And Gary West said, oh, no, not again. But Maximum Security, just a game winner. What a tough duel down the stretch with Mucho Gusto.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I thought Mucho was going to go right by, actually. It looked like Mucho pretty game coming down the stretch, but, Maximum Security is the real deal and proved itself there. And a lot of people are talking about that last race, but you got to give it a little bit of a break. Horses have go through some transitions and have some issues. And this one came back like a champion yesterday in the Haskell. $1 million purse.
Let's get to Del Mar today. How are we looking at today's card?
Del Mar looks pretty good. There's 8 races on the card today total. And I think that there's some value in there. I see a lot of mid shots. And, Del Mar, if you could just pick out get a couple of those singles and spread. Yesterday, they had some payouts.
Without any question. Nice little seminar over Milton's at Del Mar, too. You guys answered some great questions, had some great winners. And you guys were lined up. I mean, Larry said it was a quadruple selection, and the horse wins by 10. So it was a very good on-site day yesterday in Del Mar, without any question. The racing has been exciting. Have you taken away anything from yesterday's racing, Tommy D?
No. I think that I still think the track, still paying attention to it seems pretty fair for the most part. Definitely keeping an eye on it and seeing how time goes. But yeah, I think overall, just keep an eye on the jockey trainer connections. Trainers that haven't hit that are solid trainers are going to connect eventually. Same things. If a jock's not, running the best, he's going to get some winners, but you got to have the horses. So, just things to watch out for, trends, and watch out for the hot hands, hot trainers that are starting to get hot and moving forward, and then also horses for courses here at Del Mar. So once you see them run the first time and they run nice over the course, next time you see them run, you got a little bit of advantage knowing they like the course.
All right, let's go to the first race today at Del Mar. A claiming race, 6.5 furlongs, 3 and upward. Field of 6 mediocre favorites, 3-1, 5-2, 4-1, 7-2, in that range. As mentioned, just 6 going the post. Who do you give the edge to in the opener?
Yeah, number 5, Soul Owner, probably would be number 1 choice here. Van Belfort finished second in a higher level here, claiming 25 non-winners at 2. Diaz Jr., the bug boy, I think he's going to get his first win maybe right here. If I had to use another horse here, I'm probably be using 2 horses. Number 1, Coiled to Strike, Matthew Chu here. Also, I expect him to hit the board here soon enough. This horse is going to be dropping down in class from optional 20 non-winners and 1, so now it's going to be going down to optional claiming 16, so it's going to be up for a tag here. And, I just think, this Coil horse could be something to watch out for, 4-1. But top choice would be 5, Soul Owner. Yeah.
Yeah, Soul Owner. Ore Velez, the young rider from Puerto Rico, who is handled by Nelson Arroyo. He gets the call here in race number 1.
Yeah, number 3, Captain Barron, maybe at a price underneath. This one, Craig Lewis. This one caught my eye just because of the workout. Fifth, 5 out of 22 horses on the track at Del Mar. So I'd like to see those local workouts. Maybe this one could hit the board also.
I'm sorry. Velez is on Captain and Barron. Diaz, as you said, Tony Mattis' young apprentice jockey is on number 5, Soul Owner. You talked a little bit about Coil to Strike. What do you like about Coil to Strike? That's the one.
Yeah, you know what? I don't love this horse, but there's not much to like in this. The true horse I like here is number 5, Soul Owner. But number 1, Coil to Strike, it's going to be going against a little bit less here, and it looks like it was pulled up in its last race. It wasn't bet much, 24-1. So, but it has a workout on the track here. And Matt Chu, second off, is 23%. So that's a number that I was looking for. Maybe has this 4-year-old ready to fire this time around.
All right. So we move into pick 5 land with the second race. Now we got 5 furlongs on the turf. It's a 3 and up allowance claiming race, $67,000 purse. That's a nice little purse to shoot for. We have a field of 7 going to post. What's on the agenda? Is that 2-1? That's Doug O'Neill and Martin Garcia. What do you have?
Yeah, I think that this possibly could be a single here in the early part. There is a lot of speed in there, but I think this horse just outclasses him. Second in 93K, second in the Grade 3 Daytona, the last 2 races for Doug O'Neill. I think that this horse does outclass a lot of the other horses in the field, so that's going to be my top choice. I will be singling in on some tickets. If I had to use a couple other horses, maybe number 6, 7 cents here. Another Craig Lewis horse. This horse won last time off the bench. It's been off since January, but it won in the 6.5, downhill at Santa Anita. So this horse maybe possibly, and then maybe Awesome Heights was the other one I had. But, both of those horses do also have speed. So Mr. Vargas, another horse that had some good numbers. But I'm going to be single number 2. What's on the agenda here, race 2?
Yeah, it looks like the most obvious favorite in the field has some speed. Doug O'Neill using Martin Garcia quite a bit now. As we mentioned, or I personally mentioned yesterday, Martin Garcia now handled by Tommy Knust. Doug O'Neill, Tom Knust, best of friends, using Martin Garcia in this spot. And he can definitely ride. He has reinvented himself and doing quite a nice job back in the Baffert barn. As we learned from Toby, that Martin Garcia now has become the permanent galloper, exercise rider, workout extraordinaire for Bob Baffert. So we have number 2. You're gonna who else will you use? Awesome Heights in your exotics?
Probably the 6 and the 5, and then the 7 could run if it goes back to its trip last year on the Del Mar track last August. It won pretty nicely here, 94 buyer speed. But I need to see another race. Brian Cornier, obviously, Talamo, that's a nice little solid connection. But what's on the agenda just seems to be the class here. Maybe a horse off the pace if I was to look for something. Maybe Blackout or Tina's Exchange might be coming late. But I'm on the number 2. What's on the agenda will be my top pick. Number 2, I'll be using the 6-5 underneath, maybe throwing the 3 in there too underneath.
All right, we'll wait for Toby to join to talk about race number 3 from Del Mar, a maiden claiming race, fillies and mares going the distance of 6.5 furlongs on the main course here. And 3 and upward, that's the third race. But the fourth race, we're back at the turf. We're back on the turf with the Grade 2, $250,000, 3 and up, 1.125 miles over the turf. And you have a field of 6. Catapult from John Sadler is the 2-1 favorite. Sharp Samurai coming from Mark Glatzbarn, very, very sharp indeed, is at 5-2. Marquis Water from Richie Baltus, Tiago Pereira is at 7-2. Bowie's Hero, Phil D'Amato, Flavian Pratt at 7-2. This is quite an interesting race, and let me throw the rail horse Ohio, Michael Whitey McCarthy and Ruben Fernandez at 6-1. Does this have any interest to you at all, the fourth race?
Wow, I think this is a great race to watch. I think that you mentioned there's 6 horses in the field. I really believe if the race sets up, maybe 5 of them could win. I'm really not on Ritzy AP. I think might be over the head a little bit there for this 5-year-old. But Catapult, this horse won this race last year with Drayden Van Dyke aboard. Drayden Van Dyke's going to be up last 2, but his numbers are going down, Catapult, but I think this horse should be looking to come back. John Sadler will have this horse ready to go. DVD goes back up. I kind of like Sharp Samurai here. Got nosed out last time against Majestic Eagle, which wasn't the best, but I see that nice little workout on July 12th at Santa Anita, the best of 44 on the track, and we know that track was a little bit slow up there. So number 4, Sharp Samurai, would be my top choice here. I'm going to try to beat Catapult. These two went 1-2 last year. I guess maybe if there's any kind of price on here at 7-2, maybe Marquis Water won 2 in a row. Richie Baltus knows how to get it done, and it's won 3 times at the distance on 6 starts. So 3, 4, 7 are the ones I'll be using. Number 4, Sharp Samurai, will be my top pick, and a very, very nice Ed Reed.
All right, well, that's the Eddie Reed moving to the fourth race on the card today. Eddie Reed, a long-time marketing director at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, and his son just retired as the director of operations at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club after an illustrious career at Hollywood Park as well as Del Mar. Tim Reed. So Eddie Reed, fourth race. So you're going to give your check mark to Sharp Samurai.
Yeah, but I'm not sold on it because this is a tough competition. Catapult, as I said, won this race last year. I just want to see Catapult come up with another strong performance. Some of these numbers seem like they're going backwards instead of forwards. So number 3 and 4, but number 7, Marquis Water, is improving each time. So 7-2, that's not a bad play. Might not have the class that number 4 and 3 have, but it's going to be a nice race. I really think that this is going to set up for a nice little turf race for us.
All right, let me ask you this. When you looked at the form today, did you find anything in that form that might have carried over from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday? May it be, fractional times? May it be closers? Was there anything that caught your eye and said, boy, this looks like exactly a race that I looked at on Wednesday or Thursday?
Nothing really came right to my eye on that, to be honest with you, but not to say that it won't. Obviously, when you're handicapping, you want to see the races set up in your favor, and that's the best feeling, is when you could predict the outcome. When you say, hey, this horse is going to come in first, this horse is going to go second, this horse is going to go third, and then guess what? It goes 1, 2, 3, and you hit it. But yeah, you just got to stay on the trends. Nothing really stuck out to me yet. Like I said, I'm still focusing in on Del Mar and paying attention to the trends moving forward here, at Del Mar opening day Wednesday. So, we're only in 5 days, so a nice little sample. At least take this 5-day week and go from there.
Am I wrong to think there are 8 races today at Del Mar?
That is correct. 8 races today. You know what? And some of them are short, but the ones that are short are pretty competitive. Would like to see a little bit more horses in the fields, but it is what it is. And some of these maiden special weights, these could be the ones where you catch the prices.
We're catching prices. Drayden Van Dyke with Ron Ellis at 25-1 yesterday. Drain Van Dyke in the last race at 13 or 14 to 1. So it doesn't make a difference how the race looks. They still got to do it on the oval, and the prices have been paying pretty juicy.
Oh, definitely. And, like I said, pay attention to the jockeys are winning. And when these jockeys are feeling it, if they're on to 8 to 1, 10 to 1, play them. DVD, a perfect example of that. One of the best young jocks out here. And I think some people haven't given him the credit he deserves lately, but he's still a very young, talented rider, and you got to pay attention to him.
All righty, let's go to the fifth race to cover up and close in on your pick 5. I'll check some prices out here of what the pick 5 paid yesterday. And we go to the fifth race here. What do you have?
Yeah, so I got 3 horses in this race. I don't really love this race either. I think it's pretty competitive. But, I took 2 of Andrew Lerner's horses. 32% here on the year on 53 starts. We've been talking about him a little bit on the show here. He's got the number 6, Halo Darlin. This is going to be dropping down from an allowance level. So this horse is getting quite a bit of relief after its last couple of races. So I'm going to put this one in the mix. Hopefully it will like that. I like number 4 at 8 to 1. Let's show it. This horse is going to be shipping in. Yeah, it's going against a lot weaker. It finished 3rd last time out, but it had a nice little workout over the Del Mar track. Anthony Severda, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Franco, he can get it done at a price. So number 4, Show It, was interesting. And then the other Lerner horse is number 2, Scathing. This horse finished 3rd last time out, so by grazing. Ruben Fuentes is going to be up riding here. They're 31% on 31 mounts together, Lerner and Fuentes. So Fuentes is his guy. So number 2, Scathing, would be in the mix. 6-4-2 in race 5 is what I see.
All righty. So let's recap how you're going to play it.
Sure. In race number 1, I think I'm going to go with the 5 horse. I'm just going to single the 5 horse. And that I actually came from our buddy, the captain, so I will give him a little bit of credit. We talked this morning for a second. Soul Owner, number 5. I was on Coil to Strike, but I think number 5, Soul Owner, looking at it, could be the single here. I'm going to be singling in race 2, too. I'm not going to put too much into this early 5. I'm going to single the 2 in race 2. That's what's on the agenda. Race 3, I'm going to be using multiple horses here. I think that this is maybe where you can find a price. We don't have Toby on, so I do want to hear what he says. But you do have a 7-horse field, and I feel like you could use quite a bit of this field. I like number 7, Thunder Woman, Bill McLean, bringing in the horses down from Golden Gate here. This horse, I think, might have a chance coming down from the maiden special weight, going to be dropping down in class. But my top choice would be number 1, Rattle. This horse is Leonard Powell. The jock fell off last time, so by City Zip. This 4-year-old filly I really think is going to come back nicely. I think number 1, Rattle, seems to be solid. And then you got to look at number 2, Springster. Richie Baltus is going to be putting the blinkers on. First time with the blinkers, 36%. So that's a number that I like and rings nice to my ears. 1-2-7 is what I like here. But if you want to throw a couple other first-time, some of these light-raced starters, not all first-times, a couple light-raced one, maybe 4 adulting for Jeff Bondy might be you want to throw on the ticket also. But my top choice, 1, Rattle, then 2, Springster, 7, Thunder Woman, race 3. This is race 3. And then moving on to race 4, I'll be using Catapult and Sharp Samurai and Marquis Water. 3 horses there. Top choice would be number 4, Sharp Samurai, going to try to take it over this year after losing to Catapult last year in the Ed Reed. And then in the last race, I'll be using 3 horses, the 2, 4, and 6. So I'm going to be going 1 by 1, by 3, by 2, by 3. So it's a pretty light ticket here in the early pick 5. I don't see it being paid too big, but as you know, anything can happen in this game.
All right, let's go up to Del Mar. Excuse me. As we get into Larry Zapp's neighborhood. Zapper, top of the morning.
Yeah, top of the morning, Felix, at Del Mar. Had to clock a couple of 2-year-olds just out of the 9 o'clock break, and track looks good. Weather's amazing. Good crowd out here this morning. There have been really a lot of people coming out for morning workouts, and it's been real nice to see. Weather's just been, I can't remember an opening week this phenomenal weather-wise, and good racing yesterday. Obviously, the abbreviated card from Monmouth. We all got to see the real Maximum Security, and I don't know if you guys touched upon it, but what if he would have been taken down. Wouldn't that have been something?
Yeah, we talked about that. That's what Gary West was talking about. Oh, no, not again. But did you see the race? And we talked about how they had to scramble and cancel a lot of races and readjust the whole time schedule for the races.
Yeah, they did. You got to. We're in a different age, and you should always watch out for that. I guess heat index, and they waited till later in the card to run those stake races, and everything looked good. And obviously, Mucho Gusto left a big impression in defeat, but Maximum Security, I think, catapults right to the top of the 3-year-old division, and there's a lot of races left to go between the Travers and the Pennsylvania Derby and the Breeders' Cup Classic to make that whole situation very interesting. And Del Mar put on a good show yesterday. Just good crowd out here yesterday. Some really good racing, some spectacular performances by Big Return and Pure Zena, a couple 2-year-olds to watch later in the meet. We're off to a really nice start at Del Mar.
Yeah, nice quadruple selection on Big Return. Just walloped the whole field.
Yeah, that was expected by me. I read the workout reports, and they didn't really push the horse like it's been doing anything. But, the horse was just naturally fast, fit, and ready to run. And Pure Zena, when we did our seminar over at Milton's, after I talked about knowing that horse from a yearling to a 2-year-old sale, wish I could have bought it at either sale. And then Toby put the hammer down, saying he agreed with me. And she might have even outdid Big Returns. Good returns for both horses, not big prices, but if you have confidence in the quadruple star selection, you're still counting your money.
Yeah, without any doubt about that. I looked at the card today, Tommy D, and I know that you put a lot of pen to paper. 13 races today at Saratoga, so they're going to make up for yesterday's races, and I think it's starting to get on the way about 9:55. I think that's what Paul, the simulcast director over at Del Mar, told me. And, he was kind of upset last night, and I saw this happening, that there were races that were running simultaneously at the same time at Del Mar back in Monmouth Park. And these simulcast directors are on the phone saying, hey, wait for 3 minutes, wait 2 minutes. So, you don't have, great races running simultaneously, but it went to, unheard ears, so to speak, because they kept on running races against each other, Del Mar and Monmouth Park. Today now they have 13 races, as mentioned. Did you look at Saratoga at all, Zapper?
I always look at Saratoga because it is, it's where I come from, New York racing, and Saratoga's on the weekends, and obviously they put a big card today because of maybe yesterday canceling, but yeah, we're always all about Saratoga.
All right, Toby Terrell going to join us. I know he's in and out. Toby, good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great here, Felix.
What's going on, buddy boy?
Well, things are looking up. Day after, big day here yesterday. Gigantic number there through the betting windows where that pays all the bills, and we did like $16.8 million. I think everybody's got to be really happy with that. And the seminar, I know we made one gentleman very, very happy there. In fact, we got to get his name. Because Tommy D and I gave him a multi-$1,000 piece of advice there. And he said, if you were just going to do one big giant bet today, what would it be? And I gave him a blue ribbon parlay that if he took his $1,000, he's got about a $4,000 profit sitting there in the old bank account.
And what about quadruple zap, the quadruple release? I mean, that was pretty impressive, don't you think?
Well, yeah, when you hear something like that, I mean, you immediately prick those ears up because there's money involved through a little score there. So, when it rains, it pours.
What do you have for us today, Toby? I know you're on the run. You got a lot of things going on in your world on this Sunday. The third race, can you throw out who you might think will win the third race?
Third race is I think the 3-horse has a good chance to win this race. Ostaria. It's not a race I'm going to be taking really seriously on the 8-race card, but I think the 3 has a shot to win this race.
What about any other of the races on the card that you might zero in? It doesn't have to be maiden related. It could be any. What about the Eddie Reed? Who do you give your check mark to in the Eddie Reed? That's race number 4.
Well, I just got off the phone with Thoroughbred LA, it's called, with Mike Willman, and he had Mark Blatt on, and I listened to that interview before I went on the air there, and Mark seems to think that he's got Sharp Samurai at the top of his game for today's race, and I hope he's right, because that's who I gave the lean to, but this is one heck of a race. Catapult, your defending champion, is really training strongly for John Sadler, and Bowie's Hero is starting to come around as well here for Phil D'Amato, but I think the big horse, Sharp Samurai, might be sitting on the big win today in the Eddie Reed. And, of course, Ohio is not impossible for Whitey McCarthy. But this is a good race, good solid race here, Felix.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Toby, Tommy D. Catapult, too, defending champ. Sharp Samurai just losing the race. Your thoughts on Marquis Water? I know might be trying to go up but face tougher here. This horse seems to be improving. Do you think this horse has a chance for Richie Baltas? You gotta throw somebody out. And I had to throw him out. I think he's more of a 1.25 mile horse at heart. I think that's where he really gets his big edge. He's got a real long fuse. I don't know that he's going to have the acceleration of these horses here today. These horses are top notch, top in the land. If he can outkick these horses today at this distance, he would really move way up in my book. Thanks for the insight there, Toby. We were talking about a couple other races, too, and I know that we're going to jump around. We haven't talked about the Wicker Race 6, but I want to ask you about Race 7, Maiden Special Weight. There's a horse coming from the Bob Baffert barn that everybody's talking about. Mike Smith is on. That's number 5, Braun. Could you give us some insight on this horse in the mornings?
Yeah, actually, very interesting horse. This was one of the early horses that Baffert had on the track at Santa Anita, and he's a big, beautiful black horse. To me, he's definitely got the talent. Mike Smith has been aboard him a couple of times, which you really take note of because he's cherry picking. And when he shows up with an assignment in the morning to work a horse out of the gate, you can pay a little extra attention. And that's what I did. And this is a talented horse. Now, the big key here is the distance. He may have the most talent of the field, but I think that talent's going to shine the further we go. I think this horse is really a router, which makes him kind of an exciting horse. And this race today is a 5-furlong dash, so that might be the key variable in trying to find the winner. Mark Blatt said he's really excited about his horse, and I agree with him on that front. Collusion Illusion. He had a very nice gate drill. You talk about big jockeys that take their time to book a morning assignment. You pay attention, and Flavien Prat did just that with this horse, Collusion Illusion. So another horse that could win this race, and Doug O'Neill has a great horse, Tommy D, that I think you could tell everybody about.
Yeah, so I guess you're talking about number 6, Defense Wins. And, I have this horse on the top of my thing. That's why I was asking about Braum. Great Friend Stable, flatter. This horse seems to have some nice workouts. It had a 47-4 on that Santa Anita track on July 6th. So I think this horse could be ready to fire. You know, I see that a lot of these horses can win in this race. Also, the 4, they pay $285,000. You got the DeSormo brothers running together, and then Disco Ball ran a big workout last time out for Brian Cornier, and we know he could get it going. So that's why I was trying to key in. Thanks for that information on Braun. It might need a little more distance, and I love the call, Twirling Candy and the speed. So that could be a nice little one too there.
Defense Wins. That's owned by Patino, no?
Let's see here. Defense Wins. Let me check it out.
Named
here.
after Patino.
Great Friend Stables. Is he part of that?
I don't think he's part of it. That's Great Friend Stables.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doug O'Neill. They're pretty high on Defense Wins, aren't they, Toby?
Very high on him. In fact, there's a big owner involved with this horse that bought in for a big number, bought a big percentage of this horse. And, one thing about it...
Was that Rick Pitino?
I don't want to... I'm not sure on that, so we're going to have to check our note cards here.
I think Pitino. I think Pitino is the guy. I think he's the one.
But this is a very, very fast horse, and, speed might be the key. Speed might win this race today. One thing about Braun, he's got a heck of a kick, but I know he's not as fast as Defense Wins. So it makes it kind of a puzzle, and certainly a race we all want to watch real closely because you're going to see some of these names coming back towards the end of the meet for the crown jewel here when we run the futurity.
I know you said you only have a short amount of time. You're off and running. You're getting your day underway. Where's your best bet, Toby, across the board?
Yeah, Sundays, just programming note for everybody out there. Sundays, I'm going to have to come on right about this time for a little 8-9 minute window. We have 30 turf workers that are going to be barraging us here in about 4 minutes. But the best bet today is going to be right in the middle of the card, race 5, and that is number 2, Scathing. Andrew Lerner. Everywhere you talk, there's some buzz in the air about Andrew Lerner's barn. He is marching up the ranks here, winning races definitely in big numbers for a young trainer. And I think he's got this gray horse sharp. I like the way she is training right along here, and I think today's the spot for her. So Scathing, Felix, in race number 5.
All right, Joe, we'll catch up with you a little bit later on. Bro, if you want to stop by Milton's, we'll have some breakfast. We had a nice little seminar there. We're going about it again today. Milton's, the matzo ball soup was off the charts. Anybody who comes to town, the Jewish delicatessen, they have great sandwiches, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A standard 25 years being in the same location, right inside the Flower Hill Mall. You can access it from the freeway. You can see it. It's legendary. Barry does a tremendous job over there. Zapper had the matzo ball soup. I thought it was the best matzo ball soup I ever had. Tommy D had. You had a great omelet there, didn't you, Toby? Yes, he did. Yes, I did. And yes, you did.
It was a nice omelet. I really enjoyed it.
That's what he said. What'd you have?
I had some French toast, and it was tasty, and some nice bacon. Yeah, Milton's a good little spot. Definitely hit up before the track. I think they got a nice little happy hour after, too. So either way, Milton's a good little stop. And, hey, if you haven't tried their cookies, go in and get some of those cookies.
That bakery is something else,
man.
Isn't it? Yeah, that's quite a little roundabout, as we would say. And breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And, you go in there, you see a lot of trackers. I saw Jerry Moss there the other day with John Sharifs. Paul Aguirre was in there. Steve Rothblum from the Doug O'Neill barn. And just, a great place after morning workouts or breakfast. You got the booth there. It's very, very clean, very comfortable, very cool, very tasty. That's Milton's in the Flower Hill Mall. So, Zap, are you still with us, my man?
Yeah, I don't mind being the one left out. That's fine.
No, we need Zap. Zap had all the winners yesterday. We
yes,
get him back on here.
Yeah, he was on fire, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, definitely. Zap's
what winners you give out yesterday, Zap?
He did awesome yesterday.
The three that I gave multiple stars to were big returns: Pure Zena and Mucho Unusual. That would be your 3-horse parlay. And I'll tell you what, Mucho Unusual from last to first in the lane, that was pretty impressive. I mean, you see horses make up some ground, but what a turn of foot that filly and the sire Mucho Macho Man when Mucho Gusto literally tried to give Maximum Security all he can handle in that Haskell. So he's a sire to definitely watch. But no, it was a good seminar yesterday. We had some good people turn out for it. It'll build momentum as it goes, and obviously just giving out winners is what the fans really want, Felix.
Yep. First week always at Del Mar is always the busy week. People just getting settled in. They have so much going on. Wednesday's there, and it takes like a day and a half to recover if you're our age or around our age, because it takes a lot out of you with all the party and all the energy that you exude when you're around there with the heat and what have you, and just the excitement level of watching racing. One thing that I want to comment in regard to Del Mar Racing is that how refreshing is it to have Trevor Denman? I mean, Trevor Denman hasn't missed a step. And just hearing a race and hearing Trevor sit back, I was sitting on the bench underneath the tree, and I was nodding out yesterday, and I just listened to, thinking, if I was a blind man, would I really enjoy listening to Trevor Denman call a horse race? And I could almost see, with my eyes closed, the horses moving through the interpretation of one Trevor Denman. We got to get him on the show. Let's go to the 7th race, Tommy D. What do you have? We only have 8 races today, so I'm kind of surprised that there's only 8 races. I thought there would be 9, perhaps 10 on this Sunday. How about you, Tommy?
Yeah, it would be nice to have a couple more races, but as long as they have some competitive races, that's what we're looking for, is a way to make money here. So no matter how many races there are, as long as there's some value in there. And we skipped over one race. We skipped over race 6, the Wicker, which is 85K, 1 mile on the turf. So we'll just start there real quick. Number 4, Higher Power. This is the speed. Won last time, first time on the turf for Sadler, 5-2. Number 3, Law Abiding Citizen, just missed last out in a grade 3, had some nice workouts. At a price, I like Tis a Runner. McCarthy, we know could get it done on the turf, 20% in the stakes. This horse ran in a grade 2 last time out, and it's going to be shortening up the distance at 10-1. And Bombard, I see 4 horses here, but 4, Higher Power is going to be the one that they have to catch here. Zap, your thoughts on race 6, the Wicker?
It's like a lot of the grass races here. I don't love a horse in this race. I think it's a bit of a spread race. You mentioned the Sadler, Higher Power. Santa Anita, moderate pace win could translate, but this turf course, you got to be very careful with speed horses if they don't get anything their own way. I'd go with the 5, Bombard, because he was second by a neck in this race last year, and he got his comeback race in the American. Just kind of ran like a short horse. If I had to give a push to anybody, it would be Mandela, second off the layoff with Pratt. I'd probably go with the 5, Bombard at 3-1.
All righty. What about?
Yeah, there we go. We talked briefly about race 7. We didn't get your take on that. Maybe we could go backwards with you and get a couple other picks that you might like today too. But race 7, maiden special weight. Do you have a favorite out of these young, talented horses?
I do. It was kind of a tough 2-year-old season. Price has kind of doubled for whatever. The world market's all approaching the 2-year-old sales like they always have the yearling sales. And I mean, I was all over Collusion Illusion, Twirling Candy. Actually, Summer Mayberry, who used to train in Southern California, she has a consignment in Ocala for the last umpteen years, and she had this horse. In fact, Keith DeSormo bought the horse for $50,000 as a yearling. So I thought the horse was going to be in my wheelhouse, which is usually between about 1 and 200. And I'm standing in the back ring, and it just blows right by me. And Mark Glass signs the ticket at $300,000. And it's good to hear Toby mention the gate work, but this is a very athletic source. He's out of a first dude mare, but Twirling Candy is coming of age. It's a fickle bloodstock market, and people were a little down on Twirling Candy coming into 2019, but they aren't anymore. I mean, he's got a special filly in Concrete Rose who won the Belmont Oaks. He just won the Queen's Plate with One Bad Boy for Richard Baltus. And a lot of the Twirling Candies just started selling well, and this was one of them. $300,000 from a 50 yearling. And this horse is just very athletic. And if he breaks, I'm glad to hear Mark Latz high on him as I have always been. And, Toby's saying Braun might be a router. That's interesting. Baffert's got him, is definitely tight in the screws. And Defense Wins, which I can guarantee you is owned in part by RAP Racing, which is Rick Pitino. So he does own a piece. A lot of people seem to own a piece of this horse. This horse is interesting. Twirling Candy worked 10 flat, Collusion Illusion, 10 flat for an eighth of a mile on a very fast synthetic track in Ocala. Defense Wins galloped. Kirkwood Stables, who sells horses, galloped their horses at the Gulfstream sale. But you could tell the way the horse tracks the ground and the way he's made that he's just made to be a fast horse. So I'm sure he's well meant today. But I just think 5-1 morning line with Pratt, I don't think we'll get that. Just like I didn't think we'd get much price on SY Sky. And did you guys touch on that no DQ yesterday? Because I'm not sure if I agree with it. But Collusion Illusion, I think he's all set to show his best today. And I hope we get somewhere near 5-1. But I'm thinking we'll get 3-1.
What inquiry are you talking about?
In the Daisy Cutter yesterday. SY Sky was there was some drifting going on, and SY Sky really couldn't get a clear lane to run at, and I think it cost her the race myself. I didn't play because she was 6-5, but they just left it alone. It looked like a day we just leave things that could be taken down alone yesterday.
All right, what'd you think about the overall way the track played yesterday, main course versus turf?
Well, the turf, the last two races will just tell you the way this turf course is. Mucho Unusual and the Unusual Heat that runs second were last and second last in the San Clemente, and then the last race, the Ron Ellis, was last, and the horse that ran second for Steve Miotti was right there in the back of the pack. So the last two races on the grass yesterday just showed you what kind of difference Santa Anita to Del Mar is. This is a closer's track. If you go slow enough, you got a shot on the front end, but this is a pure closer's turf course. Main track, I'll say it again, still has a speed bias. I mean, maybe this the best horses won, but absolutely those two 2-year-olds, Pure Zena and Big Returns, were right on or off the lead. And I really think you want to be in the first flight. You can't close, but you're going to have to be much the best. So turf, you want the closers. Dirt, you just want a presser or a trip horse or really a speed horse.
Yeah,
I
agree. When you were talking, when Toby was disagreeing with you, I sided with you yesterday in regard to the first 2 or 3 days. I think that you have to be in the first flight on the main track, Tommy D. Outside of that 9 horse that won on Thursday or Friday night, I can't remember which one it was. It came from dead last, the 9 to win. That was the only closer I seen went on the main track.
Yeah, and it's definitely something you got to pay attention to is the pace, and you got to look at these races and see where it sets up. So, Zap giving you the heads up on the closing. So if there's a lot of speed, look for that closer on the turf, and it could pay you off. And then on the main track, as he's saying, there's a slight bias to the speed. Not too much, but definitely something to take a look at. If you have a horse up front that might be better than all of them and has speed, I would play it. So definitely some good info there from Zap.
All righty. We'll go to another race and chop it down.
Yeah, let's go to race 8. This will be the finale that we're talking about here. And I thought this one was kind of tough. I was trying to find a price here. I did follow on Pride's Gold. It's only 7-2 here. This horse was third in its first North America start. Aaron Hardy and Arroyo are going to be the combo here. This was favorite in its first debut. It has good workouts in the mix, 7-2. Also, Peter's Kitten, second, third, and second last 3 at this level. Kitten's Joy, it's going to be added distance on the turf, and Pratt stays put, so I don't want to throw that horse out. Number 1, Breezy B. This is going to be the price that maybe I'm going to throw in the mix. second and last at Lover, but it was closing, and the winner won next out, so that's a good sign. And then number 6, Curlin's Journey, second at this level. Dallas Keene, 5-1. He could get a winner in 5-8-1-6. So what I like, top choice. I'd probably give the check mark to number 5, Pride's Gold. Give that second North America start another chance.
Sapper, what do you think about the finale?
Well, we don't get to see this too much. Only at Del Mar we see these mile and 3/8 races, and I think they make it very interesting for a handicapper. And I kind of rely more on probably pedigree in these races than any other races. And a horse I'm just excited to see go this far is the 8-horse Peter's Kitten. This is a Kitten's Joy filly out of a Dynaforma mare who's never gone beyond well, she actually ran a mile and 1/8 in her first start. That wasn't much of a race for her, but she's gotten better in her last 4 starts since getting to Southern California for John Sadler. And last race, she's a beaten favorite the last 2 times, but she just looks like a horse that'll just keep going. So the 8 Peter's Kitten gets my top check. And the 6-horse Curlin's Journey, another one, just a Curlin trying more distance, and she really took to the 1.25 miles last time. She gets an extra 1/8 of a mile. These races are really tactical type races. I could see Owen Hardy's, the 5-horse Pride's Gold, also having a chance. I'd go 8-6-5 in what really looks like a very competitive finale.
All righty. Anything you want to add, Tommy D, to the whole entire Del Mar card, or have you?
Well, I want to talk to Zap and see what his triple play is today, if he had
Quadruple,
one. Or
quadruple,
we didn't talk
triple.
to him about the first couple races there, so if he had anything to add or any horses he liked in the mix, we'd love to hear about Zap.
Not a triple. It's a quadruple. Tommy.
Oh, quadruple.
Yeah.
No,
I'll take a triple, too, though.
Yeah,
we can't have quadruples every day. Or
You're right.
You just can't have it. I really think if I don't even – I would say Collusion Illusion gets 3 stars today just because I know how athletic this horse is, and Mark Lack finds Pratt to ride for him. I just think Collusion Illusion would be as close to the triple star play as you can get. No quadruple today, only because if this horse drew outside, I would like him that much more. But first time starter, everything's got to go right at the break. So hopefully he breaks. Collusion Illusion, we will not get that 5-1, I think, but I think we're looking at a horse that's very well meant today. And Tommy, these first 5 races as finding winners. Obviously you guys were talking about the Eddie Reed. Ohio won a Grade 1 in the Kilroe in March, so he's got a shot. Richie AP had a nice comeback race. He's 15-1. It would shock a lot of people, but watch out for Dan Blacker's barn. I'm seeing a young man who's really taken to his craft, and I wouldn't be shocked if this horse is very competitive. Catapult, we know, ran second by a nose to Ohio in the Kilroe, and he just missed winning the Breeders' Cup Mile, so he's the horse to beat. And Sharp Samurai's taken a few races to maybe come back to his best. And Marquis Water, this is a 1.5 miles, guys. So when Toby says he's long fused, I think that extra 1/8 of a mile gives this sharp runner his shot. And Bowie's Hero, Bowie's Hero's a Grade 1 winner. This is just a hell of a race. I just look forward to it, and I wouldn't pick one over the other. It just sometimes you just want to show up, maybe see who's bound. We were talking about where you stand, Felix, or Tom Quigley stands down, leaving the paddock, going out to the track. A lot of these winners signal their readiness right then and there. So I'll be down there with you guys looking at maybe the winner of this race. And I always, I'm telling everybody, show up in Milton's. You would have made money yesterday. Show up today and show up around Quigley's corner. And Felix, do you have a name for your little spot down there?
No, I don't.
You got to name it. Let's name it, Zap. No. Come up with something.
Yeah, it's just, it's just, you're right. Seriously, you have to look at these horses, and I've looked at a lot of equines in that position where I'm stationed that, they indicate. They're indicating that they're ready to run, and they look good. And there's some that I've thrown out because they haven't looked really well.
You know what? They're signaling. These horses do signal. People go, what do you look for? I go, as soon as the horse comes my way, I look right in his face. I want to see what his demeanor, what his mentality or her mentality is. Then you look at the bounce, you look at the coat, the dappling, and you see an attitude, just like we would, Felix, when we were growing up, heavyweight boxing to welterweight boxing. It was the sport. It was the sport. And you always wanted to see two fighters look at each other and how they looked before they rang that bell. Same thing here. This is before they ring the bell. So anybody who really wants to learn about this game more, get down there. There's a lot of people who are actually more than willing to share their information with you, and you'll get so much out of it.
Yeah, you guys were great yesterday at Milton's. I mean, it was. I got some great video. I was watching it last night. You broke it down. The Three Musketeers of Toby Terrell, Tommy D, and Larry Zapp. I want to talk a little bit before we get off the air. We're going to have about 3 or 4 minutes left here. We'll call it a Sunday. Get out of there. I know Tommy D has a family day planned. And Zapper, I'm going to be over at Milton's right after the radio show. This is the first weekend, pretty hot out there. If you want to come by, with Zapper, I'll buy you breakfast. We could sit down and shoot the bull and catch up. I know Normie will be out there, and we'll see, how many people will show up. And like I said, there was no pre-promotion. There was only a little bit of promotion. We're happy that we had some people there rather than nobody. But, that's the way it goes, and it's no big deal. The radio show is our priority, and just seeing you three guys together and having the opportunity to be with you guys, Toby, Tommy, and you, Zapper, meant the world to me yesterday. What do you have, Tommy?
Hey, I was going to say, for those table full of guys that came up, they were the smart guys that came up because they made some money at the track.
Without any question. And, Larry Robinson, who's been a longtime friend of this radio program, he and his brother, Larry and Gary, well, Larry loved the Ron Ellis 25-1 shot. And that's 2 days in a row he has pinpointed horses out to me where that he showed me what he was betting, and that was the one. The other one was the Doug O'Neill on Friday that was ridden by Mario Gutierrez, but Drayton Van Dyke lights up the board at $56, so that made for a whole lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Good times, good hanging out with everybody. Always nice to talk horses with people that love the game. Nice hanging out with Zap, Toby, and you, Felix. Great time in Milton, so stop on down today. Be a good time. Zap, one more question for you. I know you said the early first five. Do you have any single in the first five that you would say that this horse would be a single for you if you had to take a single in the early five?
To be honest with you, I really don't. I don't care. It's second day in a row as a player. I haven't really cared for the early part of the card. I mean, I'm looking forward to Eddie Reed. I heard you mention what's on the agenda. I mean, if he runs his last race, he's probably that single, isn't he? He just he looks like he towers over these fields. These 5/8 surf races, which we started doing more of when they got rid of the hill, which I hope they get back at Santa Anita. These horses are very formful. Even Painted Corners yesterday, who won the Daisy Cutter, she loves 5/8 on the grass, and Peter Miller trains for speed, and she popped out of the gate and ran. But what's on the agenda? I mean, this horse going 5/8 its last two races. Eddie Haskell's not in the race, so what would Eddie Haskell be in this race? So what's on the agenda definitely looks like that single today. And Felix, that video you took yesterday, I've got a feeling the way I was going to town on that matzo ball soup, all you got of me was eating that matzo ball
Yeah,
soup.
basically that's what I got, man. You were like, you never came up for air.
Nope.
And it was so good. I mean, I love matzo ball soup, and DZ Aikens has great matzo ball soup down by San Diego State, but Milton's matzo ball soup was that was a dead heat yesterday, man, because that soup was very, very good. But just to hear you guys talk and you guys catching some video and professionally the dialogue that was exchanged, it was priceless, and we appreciate everybody who's tuning into the radio program. Let us know where you're tuned in. I know Frank in Buffalo's listening, and Ken in Royal Oak, Michigan is on. Normie is on up there. Tom Mansour is joining us, and a lot more people that we have not met who have tuned in and listened. Larry and Gary Robinson from Calexico, they listen to this radio program all the time, and we appreciate their listening. You know what? Very proud of you guys, Toby, Tommy D, and Zapper. You guys were been great all year long, and now it's Del Mar, and now we get a chance to hang out and eat some food, break some bread. And tonight, Zapper, we could even drink some beer at Chiefs. I know that's one of your spots. And you want to come over after the races, I think I'm going to invite a couple people over to Chiefs.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Chiefs since I first started coming down to Del Mar, and you can't go wrong. They always have, they have a good attitude. The people that work there have always had as good an attitude. Food's very good.
Yeah, we got to get Toby out, man. Toby is, I tried to get him out to the Ziggy Marley concert last night. He said he might show up, but once he leaves that track,
he's a bit of a hermit crab.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Well, we got to break that. And Tommy D, if you can get away, most definitely you can join us over at Chiefs for some cold. I could go for a cold beer right now. That's how hot it is around there. But we're running out of time. Best bets, both you guys.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, so you know what? Taking a look at this card, I'm on. If I have to give you a single, it's not a price, but it's a 2. What's the agenda in race 2? I guess something a little bit more of a price. A horse that I'm expecting to come back a little bit stronger here, and that's number 5, Pride's Goal in race 8. But it's going to have to be Peter's Kitten. I like the 5-8 exacta there.
Zapper, meet me over in Milton's because I don't know how many people show up. We might have 3, 5, 10, whatever the case might be. If not, we'll sit down and have some coffee and breakfast. And what's your bet? What's your best bet?
Well, I've already given that Mark Latt 2-year-old. Let's go to Saratoga.
Yeah, we didn't talk anything about Saratoga.
Let's go to race number 8. It's a 2-year-old race, and there's a horse that almost won its first race, the 2 horse. 3 Technique, maybe a sire to watch by Mr. Speaker. This horse brought almost $200,000 at the yearling sale. Ran a bang-up first race. I don't think he makes any mistakes today. He's 7-2 on the morning line. That's race 8, number 2, 3 Technique for Jeremiah Engelhardt at Saratoga, the spa.
Yeah.
I'll just throw one, race 12, number 8, Internet of Things, 4-1 for Brown and Ortiz Jr.
All right.
too.
Nice job, Tommy D. Zapper. See you in a little while, Zapper. Toby Terrell, thanks for joining us. Wade Taylor, president of the network, thank you. And thank you out there in cyberspace. You're listening to Track Talk every Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 10, right here on the WS Radio. Adios. You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.